Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Maureen and today we are going to be making this top. It begins from the top, then comes on increasing, then goes down straight up. Then after you can attach the straps. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. So these are the materials you're gonna need. I'm going to be using this Himalaya and Peeling Everyday Super Luxe yarn. Yep. And it's 100 grams. You can have a look at the ratings. This side looks like. Then I'm going to be using a 4mm hook. You'll need a tape measure and then a pair of scissors for cutting off the ends. So we are going to begin from this top part, then we shall come on increasing. I already wore that up, so we shall come on increasing, and then after that part you won't increase anymore. You simply come down straight up. Then after you can finish off with a single crochet at the bottom, and then you leave a space right here. Continue with a single crochet, leave space, continue single crochet, then you can crochet the strap, and after that you can cut your yarn, and then you'll come then attach your yarn at this point down right here. Then you'll chain 3, leave space, single crochet, leave space, single crochet, and then crochet another strap, and just like that your top will be done. So let's measure. Like this is already one top, so you can see this, it's stretched, that is 17. You stop increasing when you reach 17 inches, and altogether it is 9 inches long and 17 inches wide. So this is how it looks like. And then the straps, they are 38 inches, but before I wore it the straps were 35 inches. So, and after wearing it the straps are 38 inches, so they increased by 3 inches. Yep. So we are going to begin making the top. This is and you can choose the right part or the wrong part according to what you want, because you crochet while like interchanging, so it's all the same. So there was actually a mistake in this video. This side I single crocheted at the end, and this side I was ending on half double crochets, and that was not right. So make sure that when you come on increasing, make sure that you stop on single crochets. And if you have a bigger bust, when you're increasing you can add 3 chains instead of 2. So you can add 3 stitches instead of 2 stitches, like how I was doing. So this can fit a size small or medium, but if you have a bigger size, make sure that you go in the increasing part with 3 stitches. So this is what you're going to begin with. At the top it is 8 inches, so I'm going to make a chain of up to 8 inches long. Make a chain of up to 8 inches long, and for this stitch you have to make sure that you stop on a single crochet unless you're increasing. So this is how it looks like. It's really textured. This is how it looks like. So let's jump into the tutorial right away. You're going to grab your yarn and then make a slip knot, whichever way you know how. Make a slip knot, and then after I'm going to make a chain. I made a chain of 13, but you can make a chain of more. Plus I did not use the last stitch because I had to end on a single crochet. So continue making a chain of up to 8 inches long, but for this is just for demonstration purposes, so I did not chain up to 8 inches long. And after that I'm going to go into the second chain from the hook. This is how it looks like. This is how your chain should look like. After that, go into the second chain from the hook. The second chain of the hook is right here, like immediately after the last chain. So you're going to go into that with a slip stitch. Go into it with a slip stitch. Make sure that it's a little bit loose because you're going to be working into that slip stitch soon. So go into the following chain with a half double crochet, go into the following chain with a slip stitch, go into the following with a half double crochet, and we're going to keep interchanging between a half double crochet and a slip stitch. So continue following that pattern, but make sure that at the end of the chain you have to end on a slip stitch as a must. So continue half double crochet. So I have 2 left. If I end on a slip stitch, that means I have to abandon the last stitch when I have 2 stitches left. So continue. When I insert my last slip stitch, I'll have 2 left, and that means I won't go into it, I'll just leave it out. So slip stitch, make sure that you end on a slip stitch, it's a must. After that, I'm going to make a chain of 1. Make sure you end on a slip stitch, so just leave out that remaining chain. So make a chain of 1 and then turn your work. So now this is for row 2. You're going to go into the first stitch, second stitch from the hook with a slip stitch, then followed by a half double crochet. The only thing you need to make sure here is that you insert a slip stitch on top of a slip stitch, and you're going to be inserting a half double crochet on top of a half double crochet. So continue half double crochet, continue slip stitch, there is a half double crochet, so insert a half double crochet, slip stitch, so insert a slip stitch, half double crochet, insert a half double crochet. Now here at the in the last stitch you are going to insert 2 stitches, but then still following the pattern. So it's a slip stitch, insert a slip stitch, then the second stitch is going to be a half double crochet. If you're bigger bust, please add another stitch, which is going to be the third stitch, and it will be a slip stitch still. After that, turn your work. For row 3, the last stitch was a half double crochet, so you go into it with a half double crochet followed by a slip stitch followed by a half double crochet. So you simply need to make sure that you insert a half double crochet on top of a half double crochet and then a slip stitch on top of a slip stitch. And also make sure that at the end of the row you insert 2 stitches. If it's either a single crochet and then a half double crochet, or a half double crochet and then a slip stitch. There is no single crochet, sorry. So continue following the pattern. In the last stitch right here, we are going to insert 2 stitches. If you have a bigger bust, you are going to insert 3, but still making sure that you insert single crochet, half double crochet, single crochet. So we are going to end with a half double crochet, chain 1, turn. Since we ended with a half double crochet, we are going to start with a half double crochet followed by a slip stitch, followed by a half double crochet, followed by a slip stitch, then half double crochet. So you're going to do that up to the end of the row. Slip stitch, half double crochet. If there's anything you don't understand, just make sure to drop it in the comment section down below. I'll be glad to get back to you. And also subscribe to my channel if you have it. So continue slip stitch, half double crochet. So since it's the last stitch, you're going to insert 2. That means the last one is going to be a slip stitch. So chain 1, turn your work. So you ended with a slip stitch, so you start with a slip stitch followed by a half double crochet in the next stitch. So this is basically the pattern. Make sure you insert 2 at the end of the stitch. This looks like. Coming to the end, you're going to insert a double crochet followed by a slip stitch because it is the last stitch. So those are 2 stitches inserted, chain 1, turn your work. So you're going to continue doing this, increasing in one row you'll end on a half double crochet, and in the other row you have to end with a slip stitch, because you are adding 2 stitches in each and every last stitch. So yeah, this is what we have. If you have a bigger bust, insert that third one, don't forget, and just continue working all the way. Then come here, also insert a third one, that is if you're of a bigger bust. But if you're size small to medium, you can simply chain up to 8 inches and then continue inserting 2 stitches as increase. So you're going to crochet up to until when you come up with this size of the top part. You can count how many rows that you made. I'm going to be showing you how many rows I made with an increase. Sorry for the increase. So continue. Now at this point you're not increasing anymore, so instead of going in with another stitch, you're simply going to make a chain of 1 and then turn your work. That is how you stop increasing, by simply not inserting 2 stitches in the last stitch. So continue slip stitch followed by a half double crochet. So for this row, I'm going to count it as row 1 because I'm no longer increasing. But first things first, let's first check out. That's 8 inches. I chained up to 8 inches, and then I increased up to until when I came up with 16 inches. But remember, this top can stretch, so it can stretch up to 17 inches. Like I showed you in the beginning of the video, it had stretched up 17. So you can increase until when you come up with 16 inches, and if you have a bigger bust, you can add on more, and then it's 5.5 inches long. So this upper part of the top is 5.5 inches long, and it is 16 inches wide. So I'm no longer increasing. Go into that, follow the pattern up to the end of the row. Just make sure that you don't insert 2 stitches in that last stitch where we've been increasing from. So continue. Make sure that you end on a slip stitch. I don't know how I ended up on a half double crochet. Just insert another slip stitch. Make sure you end on a slip stitch and not a half double crochet. And remember, we are no longer inserting 2 stitches in the last stitch, so make sure you end on a slip stitch. Then chain 1, turn your work, begin with a slip stitch and end on a slip stitch for each and every row that you make. And make sure that you do not end on a half double crochet. Yep, I hope you really correct that. So I'm going to follow the pattern. Let's say this is row 2 for no increase. The only thing you really need to do is making sure that you do not insert 2 stitches in the last stitch, because we are no longer increasing. So I'll meet you at this point. Make sure you don't insert 2 stitches. Coming to the end of row 2, insert 1 stitch, and that is the last slip stitch. After that, make a chain of 1, then turn your work. So you can see it's already no longer increasing, but rather going horizontally. So continue. This is, let's say, row 3. So you're simply going to repeat row 2, only that make sure you end on a slip stitch. Even if you have a half double crochet as the last stitch, you can insert another slip stitch to make sure that you end on a slip stitch, because it makes a very huge difference. So continue. Make a chain of 1. So I'm going to be ending here for my top. you can have a look. Remember, I'm left-handed, so I normally flip my videos except when I'm measuring. So you can see this is 16 inches before each one. 16 inches. I stopped increasing at 16 inches, so it should come up to the last lower part with 16 inches. 16 inches, and then at the top it is 8 inches. 8 inches at the top, and then in length it has to stretch up to 9 inches. 9 inches. You can have a look. 9 inches long, 16 inches wide. So yeah, this is my top. If you're bigger, you can make sure that it is a bit longer and wider than this. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be single crocheting down, and it's going to act as my edging. So turn your hook and begin to single crochet. This is how you insert your single crochet. Go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So continue single crocheting. I'll meet you in the corner. So coming to the corner, you're going to go into it with a single crochet, and then I'm going to insert the second single crochet into the same stitch. The second single crochet into the same stitch. After, I'm going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2, and 3. After that, you can skip some space. The stitches are not lined, so you just need to estimate. So after that, you're going to skip some space, go into it with a single crochet or a slip stitch, whatever works for you. And then after, I'm going to single crochet up to the other corner where we stopped increasing from. So continue single crocheting and until you come to that point where we stopped increasing from, where we ended increasing. So single crochet and make sure that you leave some space to fit the three chains that you're going to make. So I'm going to make a chain of 3 at this point. 1, 2, and 3. Then go into the exact corner with a slip stitch or a single crochet. So I went into it with a single crochet. So continue single crocheting. I started 2 single crochets in that corner because I was making an increase, and then after you can continue to single crochet in each and every stitch. See, this that looks like. Continue to single crochet in each and every stitch until I come to the top corner where I'll be inserting the straps. So coming to that corner, I'm going to insert a single crochet. That's the first single crochet, so I'm going to go into the next stitch with the second single crochet. This is the second single crochet, then another single crochet, then the fourth single crochet. But I want my strap to be made of 3 stitches, so you can insert your stitch marker just not to be lost, but just make sure that you're going to be crocheting in 3 stitches. So make a chain of 1, then turn your work, go into the first one with a slip stitch. Make sure it's not too tight because you're going to be working in it. So slip stitch followed by a half double crochet. You can take it off. Followed by a half double crochet, and then the last slip stitch. You can make a chain of 1, turn your work. So you can see that my strap is made of 3 stitches. So go into it with a slip stitch followed by a half double crochet, then followed by a slip stitch, followed by a slip stitch, chain 1, turn your work. So you're going to repeat row 2 until you come up with a strap that is around 35 inches long or 38 inches long. If you want yours longer, you can just continue. So I'll meet you when I'm done with the strap. So I'm done with the first strap. You can now cut your yarn and then pull up the loop. When we measure, it has to give us around 35 inches long. But when I wore it, it stretched to 38 inches long. So you can grab your tape measure and then measure. If you want yours longer, it's all fine. Just make sure it's not shorter because then it won't fit. So you can see it is 35 inches long. The next thing I'm going to do, it can stretch, you can see. So I'm going to be inserting the same holes the other side and then the strap too. So here we are. This side we also need to insert a strap, but I'm going to come from down. First things first, you're going to insert your yarn, attach your yarn and make a slip stitch. After that, I'm going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2 and 3. I'm just basically going to repeat the exact same thing that I did on the other side onto this side. So yeah, continue to single crochet up to the end of the corner, insert another space, single crochet up to the top, insert the strap, and like that your top will be done. So here we come. I'm supposed to be inserting an opening here, so I'm going to make a chain of 3. After making a chain of 3, go into that space with it can be a slip knot or a single crochet, whatever works for you. But I'm going to insert another stitch because I'm increasing since it's a corner and I don't want it to curve. So after that, I'm going to single crochet up to the top where I'll be inserting the next strap. So here we come, we're almost to the corner. Insert your single crochet, and then this is going to be my last single crochet. So I'm supposed to insert 2 since we are increasing in that corner. And after that, I'm going to go into the next stitch. The stitches are not clearly marked, so just find any space where the stitch can enter. So that's the first, and then this is the second, and then that's the third stitch. So after this, I'm going to make a chain of 1, turn my work. You know our pattern. Make sure that you are going to be using 3 stitches. You can insert your stitch marker if you're not so sure. So turn your work and then start the pattern. So the first thing is a slip stitch followed by a half double crochet followed by a slip stitch, chain 1, turn your work, slip stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch, slip stitch, chain 1, turn your work. So you're going to follow this pattern until you come up with 35 inches long of strap, and then when you're done, you can simply cut off the yarn or weave in the excess yarn and then cut off the ends, just to make your work look neat and tidy enough. So this is what you're going to be having. I'm going to continue until when I finish with the strap right there. Look like this with both straps on, and don't forget weaving the ends. So if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and you can also give it a thumbs up. So thank you for watching, and bye.